Welcome to Snooze Worthy, a podcast by Parenting Practice of Colorado, your window into the world of pediatric sleep, where we explore the science behind sweet dreams, effective sleep teaching techniques, and all the intriguing nuances of your child's slumber. I'm your host, Lindsey Birchfield.
And I'm Paige Legault. Together, we're here to guide you through the labyrinth of parenting, offering insights, strategies, and science-backed advice to make parenting during those early childhood years not just manageable, but truly memorable.
As pediatric sleep specialists, we've seen the transformational power of sleep in countless families.
And because parenting is a journey, we won't stop at sleep. We'll provide you with valuable parenting tips for every aspect of early childhood, from managing tantrums to fostering creativity and hitting those all-important milestones.
So whether you're a seasoned parent in need of a sleep overhaul or a new parent preparing for the joys and challenges of early childhood, Snooze Worthy is your trusted resource. Join us as we unravel the science of sleep, share practical advice, and make parenting truly snooze-worthy.
Welcome back to Snooze Worthy. This episode is the second in our November theme, Grateful for Good Sleepers, which
we are
so grateful.
So grateful. Every day of our life.
Today, we're diving into something every parent struggles with, and that is emotional regulation. We were just having an
offline conversation about that.
Both of our sets of kids, we have a girl and a boy each. And for ourselves as parents, how we handle this translate into our job and vice versa. So today, we just want to share how everything's completely tied to sleep, our tips, tricks, and solutions for you to use in your own home.
Yes. So often we see tantrums, meltdowns, and parent frustration, and we think, why is my child acting this way? Yeah. But sleep plays such a huge role, often an invisible role, actually, in how everyone manages their emotions.
Yeah, absolutely. By the end of this episode, you'll understand the science behind it. You'll recognize the signs of a sleep-related emotional dysregulation and have those practical tools to help your whole family feel calmer and more connected.
Yes. So let's start with the science. When we sleep, our brains are really hard at work, way more at work than we would think. It's regulating emotions, it's consolidating our memories, and it's really recalibrating our stress hormones like cortisol.
Exactly. And when kids and even adults don't get enough sleep, that amygdala, the part of the brain that triggers fight, flight, or freeze reactions, becomes hyperactive. Meanwhile, the prefrontal cortex, which helps the planning, reasoning, and impulse control, is underfunctioning and even non-existent in our littlest community, right? That's still growing and not even online.
Absolutely. And that's why toddlers can go from giggling to a full meltdown in 30 seconds. And why older kids might snap at a sibling or refuse to do very simple tasks. It's their brain literally cannot regulate emotions as well when they're tired.
Absolutely. And parents aren't immune. Sleep-deprived parents are more reactive, less patient, and less able to problem solve calmly. So it's a real cycle that you can get stuck in. Kids sleep poorly, parents sleep poorly and are tired, emotions escalate, bedtime and morning get harder, and so on and so on.
Yes. And so that's why addressing sleep first is often the missing link when we're trying to improve that emotional regulation in the home. A perfect example, I think, of this is with my daughter. So my daughter, and I've talked to you all about this before, has ADHD. So first and foremost, her prefrontal cortex just is developed a little bit different than if you were neurotypical. But with that being said, when she is tired, she literally is showing all of those things. No impulse control, emotional, regulations out the window. She's literally living with her lizard brain. She's just going off of that, and her reasoning is completely out that window. But what I have found is, and this is why sleep is so important in our family, is when sleep is on lockdown, which I'm going to say it really is the case 99% of the time. We're not
it's not willy-nilly.
It's not willy-nilly, no, in the Birchfield family. But if for some reason we did have a day that was, or a night that was a little bit longer, or really a ton of activities, and she's in that tired mode, her ability to regulate her emotions is so much less than it would be if she is well rested. And for her too, even the difference between morning after a good night's rest and right before we're going to go to bed is significant as well. So it just goes to show you what things look like for somebody when they are well rested versus when they're not, and how much that can play a difference in how regulated they may be.
Yeah, absolutely. So, how do you know if your child's behavior is related to sleep? So, here are a few key signs that you can sort through by age. So, for toddlers, right, to 18 months to 3, frequent tantrums, like more than 3 a day. They're clingy, they have difficult transitioning at any period of the day. It doesn't have to be the same one every day, it can be all of them. They can be hyperactive before bedtime. We see this a lot.
Yep.
People think that they're not tired enough, but they're actually overtired and hitting a second wind and having high cortisol and all the things. Preschool and early school age children, so 4 to 6-ish, are irritable. They can be mean.
Oh, very
Very
much
mean.
so. Yeah.
They're defiant, right? They have a low frustration tolerance and they're whiny.
A lot of sibling squabbles at this point.
Older kids, so 8 to 12, 7 to 12, somewhere in there, they have mood swings. And this is what we talked about, where you'll see like happy regulation, everybody's cool, and then it's like the worst day of their lives with no trigger. They have trouble concentrating, so they might do poor at school, they might have trouble focusing, they might fail a test, they might forget their backpack for the 5th time in 1 week in their locker. They're irritable towards their peers and their siblings. So again, sibling squabbles is happening, or they might start to show that in refusal to participate in something that you know they love, but they just physically can't do it because they're so exhausted.
Yeah. And sometimes it's actually subtle. So you might just notice your child being unusually emotional at night or having a low patience for just really simple tasks that they normally would do without any problem.
Yeah, one common mistake is assuming behavior equals intentional misbehavior. That's a big one. Often it simply is sleep debt showing up as that emotion.
Yep.
Yeah, I see this with my daughter. Lindsey and I, because we've done this from the jump with all 4 of our children, we don't necessarily see this in our day-to-day lives, but we definitely do with our clients. And my daughter specifically, if it is a longer day, I know that bedtime on Halloween night is going to be a little bit longer. It's going to be a little bit more emotional and stressed. So I'm going to prepare myself beforehand to make sure that I am regulated enough to handle her dysregulation because we stayed up 30 minutes later than we normally do. So I'm going to make sure that room is prepped. I'm going to take some time for myself during the day to do something that fills up my cup. But then I'm also going to have really clear boundaries with her of when we're leaving and why we're leaving, because you're tired. Your hatch is red. It's time for bed. It's usually what I say. But if my girl, who's 5, doesn't get that sleep, it is just weepy, irritable, inconsolable. And it doesn't matter what it is. The item doesn't matter. It's that she's so tired, she can't get out of that amygdala part of her brain and reason, right? So I am going to do everything to preload both of us before we go out trick-or-treating, and then I'm going to stick to those really clear boundaries of when we need to boogie.
Yeah, love that, because parents' sleep and emotional state set the tone for the home. So if kids are constantly mirroring us, whether we realize it or not, if we are totally out of whack emotionally, guess what? You're going to see that in your kiddo too.
Absolutely. And when you model calm, slow breathing, patience, or even just speaking to your kids in your normal tone and you're not yelling, even if it's just for 30 seconds, you're showing your child a way to self-regulate, and those sleep habits make the modeling possible.
And it's not just about bedtime either. Morning routines, transitions from school, and stressful moments all get smoother when parents are rested.
Yeah, absolutely. Even small interventions help. For example, taking a 5-minute pause before responding to a child's tantrum can prevent escalation. Something else that works for me and my girl personally are whispering. If mommy's using her whispering voice, we are alert
and attuned. That's a really good one. I love that. So let's get practical now, all right?
Yeah.
Here's how you can support better emotional regulation through sleep. So the first is consistent bedtime and wake time. I love this one. I talk about it all the time. And I think people aren't as aware of the necessity of consistent wake time.
I would agree.
Oftentimes we're talking about bedtime and having consistency there. But if you talk to families, you will find that most of the families do not have consistent wake time. And data shows us that we need consistency across the board. Bedtime, wake time, weekend, weekdays. It's incredibly
Holiday
important.
travel.
Holiday travel.
Doesn't matter.
It's really, really, really critical to keep that circadian rhythm strong and to really stabilize our moods and just who we are in general.
Absolutely.
Also, the wind down routine. So, we want to make sure that we have a place for this wind down. We want to use some dim lights, maybe calm music. We want to do reading, gentle stretching. We want to have a really beautiful routine that we can do, rinse and repeat every night, that's including those different activities to truly wind down our body and help our nervous system to settle a little bit. And then we also love somatic movements and deep breathing. Both these things just really can help children release tension before bed, again, settle that nervous system and just get them ready to drift off easily.
Yeah, absolutely. And don't forget, older kids 5 to 12, need strategies for nighttime anxiety. Talking through worries, journaling, or guided reflection before sleep with their parent or care provider can cause that anxiety to go down and to have them fall asleep faster, easier, and stay asleep.
So here's really the missing link. Sleep supports emotional regulation, and that then supports connection, which then supports just family harmony in general.
Say it louder. When you prioritize sleep and rest, you're actually teaching your child how to manage those emotions long term and not just avoiding meltdowns every single night.
And when the whole family sleeps better, gratitude, patience, and calm just naturally shows up way more often.
And if you're listening and thinking, this is me, I'm in the chaos right now, I want to get out of it, I need more tools, you can join the Parenting Practice membership. You can click the link in our show notes and sign up today. We have everything we've ever created is in there.
Absolutely.
So from birth to 12 years of age, you can find support for whatever's going on and have access to speak with Lindsey and I whenever you need us in your corner.
Yes, absolutely. It really is a one-stop shop for everything. If you have toddler sleep battles, you have school age anxiety, or you just really want to calm her home, it's just all right there. It's an incredible offering, I think.
Yep. Thank you so much for joining us today on Snooze Worthy. We hope that you find some peace in your home and use some of these strategies if needed. Join us next time as we continue this series, and we'll see you there.
Bye. Thank you.